The following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Hoop Ballers! Welcome back to another episode, another edition of Today and Sports Betting. I am your host, Devin Ellington at DALE007 on Twitter, or at Hoop Ball Gaming on Twitter. Also, this is a hoop-ball.com presentation. Lots of really good stuff just launched earlier this week, and we're having some really nice runs of all of the content that's featured in the Hoop Ball Premium and Hoop Ball 360 content. Got some really great interactions from you folks on Twitter, and I really do appreciate it. It's been a lot of love, and we've been making some profits, so that's also good. Got a really special guest on the show today. And before I get into that, I do got to talk about mybookie.ag. It's going to be mybookie.ag. Go over there and use promo code HOOPBALL, HOOPBALL, and you're going to get a free 100% initial deposit match. And then you're going to get some free futures wagers. Hoopball is that promo code, mybookie.ag. Bet, win, get paid. All right. So we are doing this a little different this time around for the Monday show. Recording this on a Sunday evening. We got the Ravens and the Patriots on right now, as we can see. Doing a video and a podcast here. And I mentioned the special guest. So this guy, his name's Vince Miracle, and he was one of the original founding fathers of Hoop Ball, the start of all this. I can say that I, founded Hoop Ball Gaming, but that's just, small carrots to what Vince and Dan and Aaron all cooked up in the early days of Hoop Ball. So honestly, this is a huge honor for me. I'm glad that it's coming back full circle, and I'm glad he's been able to hop back on with us. And without further ado, Vince, thanks again, man, and wonderful pleasure meeting you, and I'm excited for what's to come.
What's going on, Devin? What's up, Hoop Ballers? What's up, guys? I don't know if the video's up yet, but what's up? We got the football game going on. Dude, I'm excited to be back. Not only that, I'm excited to be a part of this right here. Sports talk, sports betting. We and Dan, when we first started doing the podcast, he had his history with sports betting. I'm sure he's probably talked about that before with this actual name of this show. This actually used to be a name of a show that he used to run back in the day. So he was good with lines. He knew that I loved just doing parlays and finding the right, the games that are winners. I don't like to just bet. I don't like throwing my money at nothing. So when I was throwing my money out there, him and I used to just do game picks. We used to battle it out, and then there was even episodes. This is way back in the day. There were episodes where after a week of choosing games, there was a punishment. And so there's little things that would go on here and there and that. So I just feel like this is such a huge market. I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm excited to see what you're able to do with it. I'm here to help. I'm here to be whatever I can be a voice, and help our listeners here get some wins.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's all synonymous on what we want for this show. We've got some really, really fun stuff to talk about. But before I do that, before we roll into too much, I'm still trying to get familiarized myself, honestly. But we've talked, off camera and whatnot. But, for the folks, remind me of the Twitter handle where they can find you, Vince.
You guys can follow me on all social media platforms of @VMCenter.
VM Center. There it is. All right. Yeah, I knew it wasn't your name, and I was trying to remember what it was. So bad preparation on my end. But yeah, so we got a Monday Night Football game to talk about. Was there anything from this Sunday that you were maybe excited about? Did you have a winner that you liked, a game that excited you? Just a small recap.
Yeah, so I had the Bills straight up, and this is not an excitement. I had the Bills straight up beating Arizona, and it was looking great. It was looking fantastic. Not only did I have a bet through the apps that I was using, but I even called friends that are huge on Arizona. I was like, I'm telling you this right now. Yeah. The Bills are going to get this win. I can just – the way they've been playing, Allen has just been an incredible quarterback this year. I feel like he's not getting talked about enough. They're winning this game.
Yeah.
And I put a reasonable amount of money out there. And a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
That's the only way. A Hail Mary, man. That's really about it. That and then my Packers, they're just that good. I'm still a Packers fan, not a real one, just a bandwagon Packer fan from when I was a kid. But they won. They keep winning. And nothing really crazy here. I feel like the NFL season's starting to get to that point now where I just kind of know these teams to the – like they're not going to change much more than what they are right now. We're past the trade deadline. So when I look at these teams, and now I'm just looking at the matchups, and I liked – all the matchups. I'm telling you, man, I thought the Bills were a winner. I went money line every game.
Yeah.
I thought they were winning that game.
Interesting thing about that, because I was too on the Bills. Plus 110 is what I eventually settled in on with them.
Yep.
But so like you were telling your friends, I had a friend. I took a bet in, and he had the what was it? It was 2.5 for Buffalo. And so when Buffalo went up and, scored that touchdown, Allen to Diggs on that corner route, I was like, oh, man, I'm about to lose both sides of this. Or I'm going to win, but I'm going to lose, the side of my friend. And then the thing happened and the Hail Mary, and then I was like, well, crap, I just lost, like, all angles because I have a futures ticket on over 9 wins for the Bills, too. So I was just like,
oh no.
I was like, well – that changed quick, but that's how it goes. You can't be too mad about losing on a Hail Mary like that.
That's just it was an incredible play, incredible catch. It was just, man, I'm telling you, I was the highest on the Bills. Like, I'm not telling every one of my buddies are very high on Arizona. It seems like ESPN, a lot of just bandwagon fans are all about Arizona right now, and reasonably so. You know what I mean? Kyler Murray is another Russell Wilson. He's looking like that. You got Hopkins doing Hopkins things. Them getting him on a discount is crazy. They just look incredible. You still got Fitzmagic out there making magical moves. Yeah. It's just, when I look at the Bills, I just feel like they're a complete team. They remind me of an old school Steelers team. Like, they are just strong everywhere I look at them. I feel like Josh Allen, again, is not being talked about enough. And they were supposed to win this game today. That's all. That's the only thing I took out of this. What did I take out of Sunday, Devin? I took it. The Bills should have won. I'm happy the Packers won.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I was watching it live, obviously.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the Monday night matchup. The Bears are the home team. They're going to be taking on the Vikings. And right now I'm seeing – I think it's +3 for the home team being the home dog. And, it opened at +2 to Minnesota. So that was kind of weird. The line, just completely shifted. Total dropped from 46.5 down to 43 based off of what I'm seeing. 8:15 Eastern time, Monday night, divisional matchup. I think the Bears cover, and we talked a little offline. I want to dig into it a little more, but I think they got a real good shot at providing some great value at +150 on the money line. So +140, 150, anywhere right in that area. But I'm interested to hear what you have to say about it.
Yeah, I know that, like I said, you and I talked about it a little bit. You have the money line on this at the +150, and reasonably so. I get it. I do also have the Bears, but I have them just with the spread. So I'm taking the full. If I'm looking at the MyBookie site right now, MyBookie's giving it to you for +3.5. I think that's a nice bid there. If you're willing to buy up the points, willing to take on a little bit more. If you can get it at 4, maybe even 4.5, I think that's a steal of a deal. I also think at 43.5 points, I don't believe this is going to be a defensive type of game. I know Minnesota's looked good. I know that the Chicago Bears defense has not been as good as it once was, but the Bears are just Khalil Mack only. Like, that's what I think about them as. If I had to make a guess on the over under right now, it's at 43.5. I still say it goes over that though. Yeah. I believe that this is just going to be one of those games where they're slinging the ball around, and you're going to see quite a bit of touchdowns. I think that's easy. I think there was a reason why it was at 46 initially. I think coming into that game, when it gets closer to the bell, you're going to see that raise right back up to that normal price. Getting this at 3.5, if you're willing to buy those points, I would do that. But I got Chicago winning this game as well.
Yeah. This is a pretty good spot, and like I mentioned, I want to dig into it a little bit more. But as far as right now, guys, it sounds like we got some plays. I'm gonna go ahead and give like a full-on medium heavy lean on the Bears money line. We'll confirm the confirmed play on that via the Twitter app tomorrow. And then, like you heard from Vince, he's looking at that over and the spread, the +3, 3.5, and if you can get that 4 for decent juice, go for it. All right, so we covered that. Like I said, we got some Sunday night football going on right now. 10-7 currently. Baltimore up. New England has the ball with a minute left in the second quarter, and Baltimore's 24. So close game, and look for that to be an exciting finish.
Let me ask you this real quick, Devin, because I'm addicted. Right now, Ravens up 10-7, like you said, a minute left. But leading into the second half right now, I can take -5.5 with the Ravens, and I'm tempted.
I'm glad you brought that up because look what they did to the Colts last week. From first half to second half, it was just a flipped switch. Tried to combine the word script and switch, and that was very confusing. But yeah, no, that -5, 5.5, I think that's a really good spot. And, like I said, that Colts game gives me some confidence in that. New England's defense is not nearly as good as that.
I just feel like we're just a minute away from being a minute away from seeing a Cam Newton turnover. And that's just going to be a key one. Mm-hmm. And it's so easy to go up by 5 when you're already up by 3 points. You know what I mean? So right. I just feel like that, like if you're looking from what I'm looking at right now, I believe there's a little bit over a minute left in the second quarter. It's -5.5. We might not be live, but I'm telling you this right now. I'm betting on that right now.
Yeah, I'm going to follow you because that sounds like a lot of fun. And it gives me something else to look at for the second half.
So I'm in that right now. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it for $100 to 180.
That sounds very exciting.
There it is. So now you guys know whether or not I'm a winner or not by tomorrow. Hopefully this doesn't make me look worse while I join in on this show for the first time.
Well, I kind of talked you into it, so I could be my fault. All right, so there was some NCAA lines that came out, and I'm going to throw a couple out there, see if you have any opinion on it so far. And so I'll start with some action because they're usually the ones that kick off the week for college football, and I'm a huge enthusiast of all small schools and small conferences. But the MAC and the Sun Belt, MACtion, Fun Belt, holds a special place in my heart. I'm looking at over 58.5 for the Toledo and Eastern Michigan game, and then I like Toledo -6.5 under that key number of 7 against Eastern Michigan, who's returning nearly next to nothing as far as production from their team last year. And Toledo, coming off that big win that they just got, against, I believe it was Western or Central Michigan, can't remember, but they were on the road. So I like the Rockets to kind of keep things going here. Any opinion on the MAC?
No, the only college game I have, and it's going to be like a couple days away, especially from when we're recording this show. It's on the 21st. Mm-hmm. It's the NC State game. And I'm taking NC State like -3. I feel like that's just so easy of a bet right now. I know Liberty's been playing good, but NC State is a really good team on both sides of the ball. And their offense, to me, I think, again, I try to find the things that no one's talking about because those are the ones that you're going to find the most value for your buck. And not only that, I feel like it's a true winner. I think NC State wins that game very easily, -3.
I love that game. I actually just added a pick of mine in that game also. And you mentioned how NC State was good on both sides of the ball. The opponent they're playing is as well. These two teams can put up some points. So I took the over at 66.5.
Yep.
I think it could get up to about 68. If craziness happens, I could see it pushing.
I have a final score prediction for you right now.
Let's hear it.
28-32.
32. Okay.
I'm
So
literally it's gonna squeak by. I'm not saying that's not gonna be close.
yeah.
All I'm saying is NC State wins.
Yeah, that's
And they're covering that spread.
They are. I'm really in love with this Liberty team. I've been talking about them from early on in the season. I've got my two love interests. I got Liberty and Coastal Carolina. I've been honking their horns since day one, and I'm so glad because it's made me look good. But yeah, I love that game. I'm not sure about the spread, but I do like the total. It's good to be on differing sides to give more content and more perception, to the listeners. So
I would never claim that as like a pick of a week type of situation. I don't know if you do that here, but all I'm saying, like, again, this is my first show. I'm excited to be back. I'm going to be rolling with the punches here. That wouldn't be a pick of a week for me, but for one where it seems as if obviously the lines are saying it's dang near a coin flip of a game. Both teams are good. Both teams are really good, especially on both sides of the ball. Me personally, I just feel like NC State has that extra punch that gets them that win. Like I said, my score is only a 4-point difference.
Right.
So you know what I mean? Like they're going to cover that spread, and that's what I want. But again, I would not do money line. I would take that minus 105 to give up 3 points, and I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win that game by at least 4 points.
One sneaky thing about this game, and I think a lot of people are forgetting about, is how many – I think there's been, I want to say 3 or 4 quarterbacks that have, kind of cycled in and out of this Wolfpack offense. And I want to say it's Ben Finley, who's been playing quarterback the last couple of weeks for them. He's obviously the other Finley's younger brother that was just there for NC State. He's now in the NFL. But and then they got, Bailey Hockman also, who's been coming in. It doesn't seem like there's been a lot of bumps in the road as they cycled in these different quarterbacks in. So it will be a good game nonetheless. See what network it's on so I can let y'all know and see if you can watch it. All right. It's not saying anything, but it's probably ACC network. It's being an ACC school. But it'll be a fun and entertaining game, and that's for sure.
100%. It's probably going to be one of the – I'm telling you, that's going to be one of the – it's going to be a SportsCenter top 10 moment.
Yeah.
There's going to be a SportsCenter top 10 moment in that game.
The coaching on both sides of the ball, NC State's coach, he's starting to get some notice. And I think by next year, this NC State team will be, probably like a 9-win team, depending on –
The only thing I don't like about the NC State coach is I sometimes feel like he tries to get a little too cute with his offense.
Cute, yeah.
That's the only thing I don't like about it. It's just sometimes, like, there's an obvious thing that you should be doing, so why are you bluffing twice just to get your one thing out?
Right.
Just pull the trigger. Sometimes just pull the trigger and you'll get it.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So, you said that was your one NCAA game?
I'm not huge on NCAAs.
All right.
Just because I'll be honest, my knowledge on NCAA football, NCAA basketball, I'm your guy. NCAA football, I'm probably out of it. My best to help in terms of overview on what I cover in terms of betting lines is going to be anything basketball related. It could be overseas basketball. I'm covering you. College basketball, G League basketball, UFC heavy. I already told you what happened this weekend. Shout out to Bun King Bars for hooking me up with my wins, okay? So UFC is going to be a big one. And then any NFL football. NFL football is another big one for me. But those basketball on all levels, NBA draft, and UFC as well as football. A little bit of baseball. Baseball, this year, I'll be honest, I finished with a negative record, but not by as bad as I did over the last 2 years prior leading into it. I'll say I have like a nice group of guys that I have conversations with that cover baseball way better than I do. But my knowledge of baseball, how to cover my spreads, how to look at these games is getting way better. So when you hear my baseball picks, just know I would take it slightly with a grain of salt, and just you and I will build my baseball record together because I am getting better at that. I'm getting significantly better at that.
The baseball side of the thing, it's just such a long grind, and you got to try to keep up with a ton of different stuff and try to make sure you're in the know. I mean, there was days where I took off of baseball for 3 or 4 days, And when I jumped back in, I was like, well, crud, all right, who's in, who's out? Where's this team? Baseball is just ever changing.
I feel like baseball is like investing in the stock market. You
Right, yeah.
You gotta like pick your teams, like your key teams, and then you're invested in those teams like for a little while. Like if you're only a money line player, just think of it as you're investing for the season, and you have a long season. And you just got to stick out the grind, up and down. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, and how confident you are is going to be the big things. And another thing, I feel like people are so scared of, and maybe this is a conversation for a different show, and you and I could talk about it in depth later. But my personal opinion is even though there's a wager on there that you know is a good winner, like let's say it's a minus 320. It's the Lakers against the worst team in the NBA. Yeah, right, just the Hornets, right? And it's a minus 320. Guess what? It may not be the worst thing in the world to get a quick $100. Yeah, it would suck if you lose, but the chance of it losing is slim, and you get to still get your money. It's not bad to take money when it's on the table. Take your money.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a really good point because, like you said, scared, fear in that. I've experienced that myself. I'm just like, man, that is just so much juice. I guess I like to say I have an operation or like a principle where it's like, don't touch anything over 250. And it's not for any particular reason or whatnot. I just kind of feel that way from time to time. But, all right, well, since you brought up and opened the can of worms on the basketball sector and you said something about the draft and NCAA, so I feel like NCAA last year was just completely stripped from us so abruptly.
It was nothing. But I watch high school basketball, so it's good. Yeah. I know all those players.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to some of these early season tournaments just because when everything stopped, we're in tournament format. So it's going to be a nice return. The Charleston Classic, I'm looking at the field. We got Missouri State and Miami. We got Florida and St. Joseph's. We got Xavier and Towson, Buffalo and Connecticut. All right, so I'm just going to get it out of the way. I think Connecticut's the sleeper out of this pool. They've been terrible the last couple of years, but that coach, he's got his – you saw it last year. They played really well in a lot of games that they probably shouldn't have, that they had no chance. And, I think they beat Houston one game when they were like 14, 15-point favorites, and they just ran them out of the gym. But, obviously Florida and Xavier are going to get the notoriety in this pool. But I think Connecticut's got a great shot at making some noise, especially early in the season.
I think Xavier is going to be my number one. Mm-hmm. I like that school a lot. I like that team. But you're right. Connecticut was going to be that. I tell you, I look for those values. The value where, like, you get the best bang for your buck. There's a good chance that they win, and no one's talking about them enough. That is Connecticut. Yeah. Connecticut has all the makings to be something very, very special, not just for this upcoming tournament, but for, like, the next few years. They have something brewing over there, and I'm excited to see what they're going to bring. Excited because this is how I view college basketball. High school basketball is like just to see if anything. And that's why I like watching high school basketball. Like, oh, this kid is good. I have little brothers. I like watching them play. I have little cousins now. They're about to be playing high school basketball. So high school basketball is just more like, are you able to slow down the game slightly when everything's starting to finally pick up? In college, it's starting to see if they can slow down the speed that they were already at. Now they have to learn how to slow down, take a step back. Now they have to learn a specific role, and then how they evolve throughout the season is what I tend to look forward to. I love seeing that because that obviously transitions into the NBA, which is the league of leagues.
Right.
So I think Connecticut is growing something where you're going to start seeing key players want to go there, and you're going to see I would just say lottery prospects start coming out of Connecticut instantly. It's not going to be one of those things where it's like, Kentucky, over and over and over again. You're going to start seeing some Connecticut names in there, and it's going to look nice.
Yeah. It's basketball's good when Connecticut and UConn, when they're good. They're just one of those schools. And don't quote me, but aren't they joining back into the Big East or something within the next couple of years? I thought I saw something on that. They were going back to the or something. I don't know. Another conversation for another day. Real quickly, I'm just going to throw this other tournament out because I've kind of been touching on some of these early season tournaments on the show the last week or so. But the MGM Resorts main event, it's got 4 teams, but TCU, Clemson, Colorado, and Wyoming. I think it offers a pretty good, Power 5 representation, but also you get the Wyoming from the Mountain West in there as like a group of 5. Thinking Colorado is probably the team to beat in this group of 4 here, just because they brought a lot back from last year, and they were starting to click a little bit towards the end of the season. Coach retainment, it's just I think they got some continuity, and in a weird off season, it's going to be crucial for that. So, just a general thought on that from me.
I don't know much about the MGM tournament, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm looking into it right now.
I'm excited about these little tournaments, like I said.
Yeah, Colorado beat Clemson on November 26th. That was in 2019. Mm-hmm. Huh. These are the ones that are broadcast on ESPN, huh?
I believe so, yeah.
Ooh. See, now you got something to look forward to now. When's this one tip off?
That one is here.
Thanksgiving weekend? Oh, it is Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
Run that, dude.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this. We're like 12 days out. We're like 12 days out.
We're going to start talking about this a lot then leading into this. Mm-hmm. Just be ready. Like I'm next ready. Show.
Yeah.
I'm going to go deep dive now.
Tell the listeners
now that's just going to be something that you can look forward to every time a game is on. It's going to be like watching an NBA playoffs. It's going to be watching in March Madness. We're going to get it right leading into Thanksgiving. I'm going to be eating some food and watching that.
Yes. And then don't forget that there's going to be football still. So it's just going to be MMA. Man, it's
going to be there. Boxing's going to be there. Look for Rory Jones Jr. versus Mike Tyson. Fun fact, guys, Roy Jones get that dub. Roy Jones get that dub, baby. Oh, man.
Heard it here first. Okay.
I won't be betting that, though. I just hope he wins. I just hope he wins.
NBA draft. Are the Warriors going to trade their first pick?
Man.
Or should they?
Should they and are they going to are two different questions. I think that there's a good chance that they're going to. I just feel like there's so much potential out there on what they can find.
The return.
Of like what they're looking for. There's just a package. Andrew Wiggins doesn't really fit. And everyone knows it. It's like the elephant in the room when the Warriors come up at number 2. And if they don't trade that pick, I think it's James Wiseman. I don't even think there's a debate about it. James Wiseman is going to be their pick, and he's a good fit for them. The only problem is it's just I feel like he's still so unpolished. He's very clumsy. He reminds me of a better Hassan Whiteside. And Hassan Whiteside, until he was with the Heat, wasn't even in the league. And when he was here in Sacramento, I cover the Sacramento Kings heavy. I have SacKingsNation.com. You guys check me out, SacKingsNation.com. Kings Sport podcast every single week. Horrible plug for all the hoop ballers. You already know. That's my thing. But, yeah, check out the show, SacKingsNation.com, everything like that. We cover the Sacramento Kings with in-depth coverage. And when Hassan Whiteside was here, the biggest thing about him was the immaturity. I'm not saying Wiseman is going to be that, but just immaturity and unpolished. He just seems like he knows where he wants to be, but he's not there yet. And he's just out on the floor. He looks like he could become a player that's very foul-prone. So he's just constantly getting into foul trouble. You're never going to want that on your team. But if there's any team that can form him into becoming a strong defensive player, also with the ability to stretch the floor already the way he can, and on a team that has championship mentality, it is the Warriors. It's the perfect fit for that player. And for all my doubts, they would come a lot smaller if he was chosen at number 2 for the Warriors.
Right. So is your number 1 Anthony Edwards then?
I think the best player in the draft is Anthony Edwards.
He's a freak.
I'm not saying he's going number 1 because I personally don't believe that the Timberwolves are going to be picking there.
I agree with you. I
don't think that obviously they'll be making the pick, but I don't think it'll be for that team. I think they're going to be trading away the number 1 pick.
This would be ridiculously dumb, but I mean, Golden State, they don't like Anthony Edwards enough to just go ahead and shift over one spot, do they?
No, I don't think Anthony Edwards is going to be the pick. I don't think James Wiseman fits in Minnesota just due to the fact that Wiseman plays the same exact position as their key center. They just got his best friend to come play with him on his team. So they're not trying to ruin the relationship they already have with Towns.
Right.
So why bring in Wiseman, right? So that doesn't make any sense. You can bring in a LaMelo Ball, but the problem with bringing in LaMelo Ball there is LaMelo is a player who his shot, while he loves shooting it, he's not a great shooter. He is a decent ball handler. He tends to get a little too flashy, which causes a ton of turnovers. And he needs the ball in his hand to be productive.
Yeah.
Guess who else needs the ball in his hands to be productive, though?
His brother.
No. But D'Angelo Russell, who's the key player on that team now. He's going to be the key focal point, who's also a good passer. Look what he did in Brooklyn. He can pass. He can score. He can shoot. He can do anything you want on all three levels except defend. And LaMelo as a defender is not good either. They need someone like Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards plays defense. He's deceptively quick. I know people say he's fast. What I'm saying is he is deceptively quick because he knows how to stop and go. The speed, I would say it's not as fast as a De'Aaron Fox, nor even a Donovan Mitchell, but it's maybe like a step behind that. And it looks good. His shot, I know a lot of people say that they believe in it. I question it a little bit. It doesn't look as smooth as a lot of people are making it out to be. Hopefully I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. But I do think Anthony Edwards is the best player in this draft. He needs to be chosen by the Timberwolves. If he's not, I think the Wolves should just go ahead and either trade down or just trade this pick outright and try and get some talent there for somebody else. And here's my proposition for them is I believe they should trade the number 1 pick and maybe a future, whatever they need to do and get it, because I think there's a good chance they can try and get a nice number 4. Like make Towns the 5, get a nice 4. Pascal Siakam. Yeah. Just see what happens. Just see what happens. I'm not saying Siakam's even on. I'm not spreading no rumors, nothing. All I'm saying is somebody's rebuilding here, and someone needs to start showing that they're doing something. Is Pascal really a true number 1 option? Kyle Lowry was there.
Right.
Is he number 1 option? Maybe he is, and I'm crazy. But all I'm saying is if you are going to get the best bang for your buck, the most value out of one player, now is the time for a Pascal Siakam. Why not go get a number 1 pick that is a guard in a guard-driven league as good as Anthony Edwards? And that's not the worst decision to me.
Yeah, and the kid, I mean, he's got size. You know, he's bulky in, certain ways. And he also, he's a pretty decent defender. You know, he gives effort. And I've watched a few Georgia games just because of him. And, I saw him chase blocks down, kind of, not saying he's like LeBron, but like he chased stuff down, grabbed it, took it all the way to the other end of the court, or pulled up on a nice smooth transition 3, or dished. You know, he was well-rounded is what I saw. So a
lot of people compare him to Dwayne Wade. That's not my comparison. My comparison is Cuttino Mobley. That's exactly who he reminds me of.
Wow.
So for those who don't know who Cuttino Mobley is,
Google him.
Definitely know who he is, 1. And 2, look him up because that dude still gets buckets at his old age. You know how like people make old white bearded NBA 2K characters? That's Cuttino Mobley in real life.
Yeah.
So look him up. That dude gets buckets all day long, and he was a good player.
He was a great player.
He was a really good player. So
yeah, he was so fun to watch. Him and Jamal Tinsley. I liked Jamal Tinsley.
Jamal Tinsley. Wow, what a name to bring up. Wow. I thought Cuttino Mobley was good, but Jamal Tinsley. Okay.
Yeah, Jamal Tinsley. I liked those Indiana teams for a little bit. But, it was cool to break down some draft prospects and some ways that it could play out. I'm really excited about the free agency and how that's going to work also. It's going to be weirdly condensed, and it's, going to be rapid movement, I think. I don't think there's going to be a lot of sitting free agents, especially the top guys.
Yeah, with the free, I mean, we've already saw that there's a trade that's already happened.
Right,
it's just
Dennis Schroeder.
Fully happened, right? Dennis Schroeder is going to the Lakers for Danny Green in the 28th. I mean, that's a great trade for the Lakers. They basically put Rajon Rondo's bluff saying that he's going to leave for, more money, and rightfully so. He's playoff Rondo. This is going to be the last chance at his old age to get something. Basketball old age, guys, to get money for his worth, you know what I mean? So I mean, it makes sense for the Lakers. Now they get a scoring point guard who, I mean, on a team that he was with last year, OKC, they had Shai Gilgeous, who's obviously the future point guard now. Chris Paul's on his way out. Chris Paul was also there, obviously. So there's 1, 2. You're coming in as a six-man playing point guard, but really playing off guard.
Mm-hmm.
He makes sense. My question is he going to be able to catch and shoot threes at that same high clip that he was doing it this year? I don't know. I think there's going to be definitely a lot of movement, a lot more movement than people suspect that there's going to be. So I know that is going to be a real thing there. Free agency, I don't see a lot going on in free agency. I think you're going to see a lot more trades and sign-and-trade deals. I'll say that I don't think Montrezl Harrell is going to be coming back to the Clippers. I think you're going to see a sign-and-trade deal there. For what? I don't know. But I think Montrezl is gone. I think they're going to bring back Marcus Morris over him. And if that makes sense to you guys, that's up to you. Me personally, I think it's a Montrezl. You bring him back for a reason over Marcus. I get you want that stretch four, but yeah, I can keep going about that.
Yeah.
I can keep going, man, dude.
Yeah.
When we talk basketball, that's literally I will deep dive basketball, anything, bro. I will deep dive heavy. So you got to cut me off at some point.
No. I'm just enjoying all of it. So I'm excited to see where a couple main guys go. Namely, probably like a Fred VanVleet, because it's probably. I mean, I think it's guaranteed he's not coming back to Toronto.
So he wants to get paid.
Pay him way too much. They're going to have to pay him like $42-45 million at least.
Yeah, he was on the JJ Redick podcast. He says, "I want to get paid."
Yeah.
He outright said it. He's like, "I love this team, but it's his time." And honestly, he deserves it. Think of his story, undrafted, to come in there every single day. The stories of Fred VanVleet is he would stay later in practice, ask the coaches, "What do you want me to be in practice?" He wasn't even a participant in the rotation yet. What do you need me to be just to get minutes? Got minutes, proved his minutes, and became such a huge role on that Raptors team over the last 2 seasons. And most importantly, this year, he was arguably their best player all season, consistently.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think Fred VanVleet deserves his money. He kind of reminds me of a poor man's Kemba. But maybe that's just a size thing because Kemba's really good.
Yeah.
But Fred's really good. So, I don't know. I like Fred VanVleet. I just don't know what team best suits him. That's a problem. Like, he would be great on the Lakers, but the Lakers can't afford him.
Yeah.
So, what team could he ultimately go to? The Clippers, but the Clippers can't afford him.
I thought about the Nets, but then I quickly just brushed
They have
that off.
Dinwiddie.
Exactly.
I like Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie's good.
Yeah.
They got LeVert. LeVert is good.
Yeah. But what if they move on from one of those guys?
I think if they're going to do that, man, I don't think they go. I think they'll do what's rumored now, which is James Harden. If you're going to give up young pieces like Dinwiddie and LeVert, and there's a player out there potentially on the board, you're not giving up those 2 young guys unless you're getting either first-round picks and a player, or you're getting a stud. And because don't get it twisted, guys. Spencer Dinwiddie on any team away from having a superstar point guard is a starting point guard. Dinwiddie gets buckets. Dinwiddie is basically C.J. McCollum. Dinwiddie is a monster. Okay?
He's a better defender, too.
And Karis LeVert, people sleep on him because of the injury. He is injury prone. He's been injured quite a bit. The guy is a walking bucket. As we see that the New England Patriots have the lead now going into this third quarter.
Look at that.
And they have the ball. So my $100 is looking a little bit at risk right now. But no, I'm telling you, the game ain't over till the fourth quarter bell rings. You know what I mean? So, but like I was saying, I just don't know a team where he can go to in terms of VanVleet. And LeVert and all those guys, if they're going to give them up, I don't think Brooklyn fits. I think they're going to go for a guy like Harden. My camera goes all crazy. But that's the only downfall for LeVert is there's no true team for him right now.
Right. So maybe just he's going to be forced to take a pay cut and sign with Toronto.
Signs a 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year.
That's the
12,
problem, though.
15.
Because guess who else did that? Cousins. Got hurt again.
Yeah.
So you gamble on yourself. That's the big thing. My personal opinion, Fred VanVleet, if he could do it, I would find a way to get to Phoenix. I think a backcourt with him, Devin Booker, and having Ayton. I know that there's rumors about Chris Paul, and maybe the money doesn't work. I'm not looking at cap right now, guys. All I'm doing is, in terms of fit for me, I think a Fred VanVleet, because defensively how good he is, as well as putting him out there with Devin Booker is good, or Indiana. And I just think his personality fits with the grind of Indiana.
Yeah.
To see a Malcolm Brogdon, Fred VanVleet backcourt would be monstrous. Like, those are the only two teams. And is Oladipo on the board? And if he is, can you do a sign and trade deal in that way? Because then Toronto is, again, in the same exact boat in about a year and a half, where Oladipo is a free agent and they get to make their decision on what they want to do with him. So
yeah. The Knicks also still don't really have a point guard.
I feel bad for Fred VanVleet. The Knicks. I feel bad for any player that goes. I feel bad for Julius Randle.
Yeah, poor guy. Marcus Morris got out of there.
Randle fits their IQ, though, because all Randle wants to do is be a top-notch scorer and
the point guard.
Hey, look, he looks good doing it in the Knicks uniform, but on any other team, he's not doing none of that. On any other team, he's not doing none of that. So
it's like they tell all their players, no matter what position, to be a point guard. Just do everything possible with the ball.
No, I feel like they say, "Hey, what do you think you can do? Oh, you can? You can shoot from 3? Try. Let me see. If you make one, that try. Let me see you shoot one. We're gonna get you on a down screen. You wrap up. You hit that 3. Bang. One to try. He hits it. It's over. It's 3 to the head all day long. You're never gonna stop giving him the ball. It'd be crazy. It's lights out.
He can go 1 for 9 5 nights of the week.
But guess what? He hit that one. He was talking to you.
And he looked good coming off that back screen.
Yeah, dude. He'll bring it right. Hey, if he scores in your face too, he'll make you remember the next 3 games. He has 12 points. The other person has 31. Yeah, but I dogged you on that 3. Yeah. I dogged you on that 3.
After I banked it off the side of the backboard on the other one.
Exactly. After you blocked me 3 times, I banged that 3 in your mouth.
He's awesome like that.
Yeah, that's really
raise him right in Kentucky.
Exactly. Bring those Connecticut guys out.
Yeah, exactly. We need more Rip Hamiltons and Kemba Walkers.
He was a monster, man.
That was just nuts what he did to Aaron Gray in the tournament. Oh man, one of my favorite Kemba moments. That run he went on to get them into the or through the ACC, or it was still the Big East, through the Big East tournament, because they had to win that tournament to get into the big dance. And then the run that oh my gosh, Kemba Walker was just out of his mind. That was just phenomenal. But
to get back to the odds real quick, because I'm on MyBookie just looking through bets for the week. One good one is Anthony Edwards right now for the number 1 pick. I think he's the best prospect. If you were going to bet on anyone to go number 1, I know the favorite right now is LaMelo. And the only reason why I think he's the favorite at minus 175 is not because Minnesota wants to take him. I think it's name recognition.
Yep.
So if I were you, plus 160.
Ooh.
I think Anthony Edwards at plus 160 is a very, very nice bet.
Man, thank you for bringing that up, because that is totally something that I'm going to do. And, like I said, like my personal rankings, not that they're extravagant, but, he's my number 1. It's who I would take with the pick. I mean, I think he offers the most profile, complete. So, yeah, no, plus 160, that's insane value. And
then I don't know if we have the time to here, Devin, but I have the UFC lines up for the 21st. If you have time to run through that real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Enlighten us. I'm not very deep into this at all. MMA is not a wheelhouse whatsoever for mine, so I will purely intake, and I'm going to start learning about some new things, and I like it.
So let's go ahead and start down here at the very bottom of the card. The first one I have right here is Antonia Shevchenko, which I believe is the little sister to Valentina Shevchenko, going against Ariana Lipski. I know Antonia Shevchenko just got beat by Kuttenhagen, who fought Valentina Shevchenko. She should have never been in that fight at all. Kuttenhagen was a strong underdog. I took that bet heavy. I told everyone on Twitter this is the most ridiculous line you could ever see. This woman was in a title fight and is now fighting a number 13 at the time in a 3-round fight in a main event. And I was like, that's crazy. So I took that, and it was an easy win. But in this one against Lipsky, Shevchenko. She's a minus 160. Take Shevchenko. That's a win. Antonia Shevchenko on that one. Okay. Then we move up a little bit more. I'm not gonna mess with Kyle Dawkins, Jared Gooden, none of these guys. But there is Mike Perry versus Tim Means. A lot of people do not like Mike Perry. Mike Perry is a character among characters. And I don't even know if this fight's been canceled yet. I know there's rumors about it being canceled. Maybe I just haven't caught up on the news yet. I'm just looking at in terms of the fight that's in front of my face right now. Mike Perry versus Tim Means. Mike Perry's a minus 140. Man, I think I have to take that just because I don't trust Tim Means. Tim Means is one of those guys, he either shows up or he doesn't. Mike Perry, Platinum Mike Perry, shows up when he needs every time. He's the same exact guy, inside and out, and he's willing to lose by the way that he fights. Tim Means tries to continuously adapt in the ring to what his opponent is doing, and then he tries to figure it out way too late, and he'll give you a good round, but he never gives you that consistent 15 minutes, and it's you get flustered by him. So if you had to make a bet on that fight, you have to lean Mike Perry. I know it's another favorite, minus 140, but hey, when the pick is right, the pick is right. I would say I think he wins that fight, and I would even say this: I think Perry gets a finish. I don't think he goes all three.
Yeah, I'm actually familiar with Mike Perry with the name. I think I've watched a couple fights. I'm not saying I'm a complete novice, but I've heard of Mike Perry. And then what was you're bringing another couple of fights up?
Yeah. So the next one I have is the one that I brought up earlier, Caitlyn Kuttenhagen. She was the one fighting Shevchenko. She's fighting on this card, and now she's fighting against Cynthia Calvillo. This fight is huge for Cynthia. She's coming in as a huge favorite. The problem is, people don't like Caitlyn. Maybe it's a look thing. I know people go off looks when they make their lines. She doesn't look like she should be in there. This is going to be messed up. So Caitlyn, if you're ever listening to the show, do not take this offensive, okay? But this is true. She's got older woman face, even though her age doesn't show that. You know what I mean? That's the only way I can say it in a nice way. Her face looks older than her age.
Fair.
And at plus 170, the chances of her winning to me in this fight, she's going to need to keep her distance. She can't get wrapped up the entire time. Cynthia's going to try and wrestle her. If she gets wrestled, she's going to get beat up. But Cynthia also gets cocky with her hands. So if you can kind of keep that distance and keep it moving, Caitlyn has a good chance to keep her distance with her legs as well as throwing those hands. She's crafty off of her back. The thing is that Cynthia is so monstrous that it could heavily go Cynthia in one round. But if you want to take a gamble, which is what we're doing here, right? You want to gamble, you want a potential winner, plus 170. I think Caitlyn Kuttenhagen is the one that you want to do on that card. And then the final one that I have for you here is just going to be the main event, Valentina Shevchenko, the monster, the mania, the beast. The line is not out for that yet, but I will say this. It gets out of the second round. For Maya.
Yeah.
It gets out of the second round.
Yeah.
So if you're betting the fight goes past 2 rounds, bet that.
Okay.
You're willing to bet minus 1380. That's her favorite. Minus 1,380 to win $100.
That's
kind of a little out of my range, right? But to get out of the second round, that I think is a good bet. I could be wrong though because Valentina Shevchenko is an assassin.
Well, I'm excited to get into this as we dabble a little more and have you back into the fold of hoopball. And again, just it's phenomenal that it's, like you said, that full circle has come around. And I'm excited to start learning more. And I honestly, I think I might have the most fun handicapping some college basketball with you. So, I'm looking forward to that. We used to do Ivy League Fridays where I would cover the Ivy League and the MAAC. Like I said, I love my small schools. St. Petersburg won me a good amount of money last year. So
Okay. You're going to give me a run for my money because I feel like I'm the smartest one in my group in terms of college basketball picks.
Sure.
So if you're going to start bringing out small schools, I might have to like bring out an old book or something and start studying a little bit more.
I usually do read old books whenever I look into this stuff. So, but well, hey man, we covered some territory, and we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna have the video and the normal audio for the listeners. So, this is a new endeavor, and I think hoopball gaming is gonna flourish and become more exciting because of it. And it's an exciting time to join up on this team, guys, and to become more ingrained with us. And, I'm not just talking about the Hoopball Premium and the Hoopball 360 and using our promo codes and stuff, but the interactions, asking us questions, getting to know us, getting to know Vince, and getting to learn about Hoopball and what it's actually about. So we're very friendly people. So come at us with whatever, just come correct. Just come correct. But, whichever way that is, positive, negative, you can do that. Vince, I'm going to let you kind of take, the little platform here and plug in some more stuff, say some sayonaras or whatnot, shout outs, and I think we should tie a bow on this one.
Sounds good. Well, then you guys can follow me on all social media platforms of @VMCenter. I'm excited to be back. All my hoopballer friends, keep following me, keep adding me back if you guys left me before. Again, I'm excited to be back here. I'm excited to be on this type of platform where it's strictly, this is an untapped market. You know what I mean? This is something where you want consistent picks. You want personalities you can actually talk to, personalities that are going to stand by their bets. Standing by their bets in terms of this conversation. I took the Baltimore Ravens -5.5, and right now they just gave up a touchdown. They're down by 10 points right now to the New England Patriots. Look, it was on the fly, but guess what? We talked about it here. We figured it out. We weren't saying that was going to be a home run hitter. I will give you guys my weekly go-to pick. I'm not going to do that today, but I know that's what I'm going to be looking forward to doing. You guys can also check out all my Sacramento Kings coverage at SacKingsNation.com. New podcast coming out tomorrow, The Kings Court, covering the NBA draft in full. You guys already heard a partial of my analysis there. What's happening to Bogdanovic. I give you what I've been hearing from certain people, as well as what I think is actually going to happen there, what trades the Kings could be looking forward to on that part as well. And, Devin, I'm excited to be back here, excited to be here. You guys need to check out the forums, follow both of us on Twitter. Give us your questions and give us your picks. Yeah. We're not the end-all, be-all. We're just giving you our opinions, our numbers that I have numbers here that look at 4 different teams before I make a certain pick. Maybe you guys know something that we don't know. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with arguing with you that you're wrong. I'm also okay admitting when I'm wrong. But at the same time, I'm never going to say ha, ha, ha to you. What I'm going to say is good job, because guess what? You're the winner. That's all we want to do. We want to make this hoopball community a winning community, and we're going to do it here together.
Yeah, I'm all about the conviction and the value, but I also like to send all of my good energies and good vibes to everyone that's, associated with this, just because we're on opposite sides of picks sometimes, it's never a bad idea to gain perception or perspective in any way you can. So, Vince, I'm excited to edit this and listen back to it, so I'm actually going to get started on that. We're going to get it up bright and early in the morning. I'm here on the East Coast, so it'll be, it might be uploaded before the sun comes up for you guys on the West Coast. So, but I really appreciate it again. I'm looking forward to the next one and the one after that. Don't forget to use the Hoopball promo code over at mybookie.ag, and then also go over to manscaped.com and use Hoopball20 to get free shipping and 20% off over on their new stuff. Speaking of the Lawnmower 3.0. Again, I'm at DALA007 on Twitter, and Vince is at VMCenter. Got it. All right, cool. All right. Well, there's that, folks. And we're at Hoopball Game, and this was a hoop-ball.com presentation. And now I've gone long-winded, so I'm going to say goodbye. Bye, Vince. We'll see you on the next one.
The next time.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.